Uh, what's going on, guys? DPS podcast episode, I think 105. Today has been a terrible day. I come home. I'm just going to say this real quick. I come home, check and see if everything is working at 8:15, and my hard drive that all of my data was on is dead. It's not working. Not working. That's why you heard that's why you heard like different music for the intro and a whole bunch of other tomfoolery that was going on. But y'all ain't come here for that. We're gonna talk about some other stuff later on the show. But I am here with the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that didn't make a video, the man who is the brand new owner of not a RTX 4090. He said, I ain't trying to spend that type of money. I can't. I got kids to feed. My job don't pay enough. I can't do it. I can't do it. But guess what I can do? I could buy a 3080 Ti and still be better than 90% of the other people out here that's gaming. And his it'd be still better than 99% of the gamers. His name is Slow-Mo Backslap. And I would like to welcome him to another amazing episode. How are you doing today, sir? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
On Double Barrel Gaming, boom, his mother passed today. And if he loves his mother anywhere near as much as I love my mother, that he's hurting. Um, Forte, they can't hear me.
Yeah, they can.
They said they can't hear me.
They
Oh,
can
okay, they can't. Okay,
Yeah, they can hear you.
let me start over. So we want to have. It looks like you guys had a moment of silence anyway because you couldn't hear me. But
Right, that was definitely a moment of silence.
we want to have an actual moment of silence for two people today. And the first one we want to have a moment of silence for is a friend of DPS, a true 10%er, Double Barrel Gaming, Boomstick. His mother died today. And as I was saying before, if he loves his mother anywhere as much as I love my mother, then he's definitely hurting right now. So we want to have a moment of silence for Boom's mom, as well as a moment of silence for a dear friend of DPS, someone who's been on this show multiple times. Optimus Code passed to this morning. And if you weren't aware, Code has contracted a very rare disease almost about a year ago. And he had a long fight, and I mean seriously fought to just to have basic calm, you know, just good living, and it's unfortunate that the disease ravaged his mind as it did, because it robbed us of someone extremely intelligent, very knowledgeable, and not just gaming, but just a lot of different areas. And I missed having conversations with Code and picking his mind on things, seeing his opinion, even though we didn't agree very often. It was always a joy speaking with him and talking, just shooting the breeze and talking about so many interesting and great topics with him. And he provided a lot to this community, I think, whether people agree with that or not. I know there's some that disliked his antics when he was having fun, but we don't care for any of those kind of things here. What we care about is the fact that a father and a husband and a gamer lost his life. So rest in peace to Optimus Code and Boom's mom. And we can do that moment of silence now. All right, man. Forte, yeah, did you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, man, it sucks because for a lot of people that didn't know, I I did primetime gaming with Boom for a year and a half. Like we started that show together Monday nights, 9
Mhm.
p.m. And it's sad because I mean he's one of the few people in this community that actually has a direct line to me to be able to call me whenever he needs something or whenever he wants to know anything. He just picks up the phone and call me, and just knowing that this happened to him is like really, really like heartbreaking to me because it's just like with me and my mom. Like my mom is like the center of my earth next to my wife and my kids. It's like I never want to even imagine what a person is feeling because I just emotionally would probably just shut down because that's just how I am when it comes to my mom. And knowing that is what he's going through right now is very, 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 very hard to just put into words. But he's a very strong individual, but it's still the simple fact that, us being, part of the family, part of the community, part of, no matter what flag you fly, console wise, we're all people at the end of the day. So please go on to Twitter, DM them, hit them up, tell them, how you feel and everything. Let them know that you're thinking about him because I know right now he kind of feels alone to himself with probably just him and his wife. And my heart goes out to everything that's happening with him right now. And then when it comes to code, he's like he pushed me to be better at the things that people consider me good at now when it comes to like doing these podcasts and stuff. Always encouraged me to do more and more when it came to content creation. He's always put the DPS family at the top of everything that he you know indulged in. I mean, it's hard. Think about how busy the man, the man had a bunch of stuff going on and he still found time to, come into our chat, listen to us, talk to us, come on our show multiple times and stuff to basically just, give us knowledge on the things that's happening inside of the development scene when it comes to gaming. And he became a really true friend after all that. And we know that he could, his trolling side would always come out, but we all knew it was just all in good fun. But I just wish him, the best in the afterlife that's going to happen with him and then his family. I'm just wishing that, it worked out a little better for them, but he's not struggling anymore. And I think that's the positive thing that we could kind of take from this. But, once again, everybody just reach out to his family and let them know how much you cared, and let them know that, you're always thinking of them, because that's the one thing I will always say. Code is always thought of. Not one day went by since this whole ordeal happened that I didn't always just kind of just think about, dang, I miss Code because I just missed the conversations and just the random DMs to see how I'm doing and stuff. And he was just a really good dude. So
Yeah.
yeah, with that, man, that's pretty much it. But he's not going to be forgotten. None of these people are ever forgotten, and that's kind of the thing that I always take from this. You are what you put out of this, and most people, you just got to remember that you know people, you have a lasting impact on people no matter what you do. So that's why it's always nice to just be kind to people, because people are always gonna remember you for the type of person you are. And he was a really, really good dude, and that's what I remember him.
Right. And and to the people who like really had a real conversation with code, they would know that like, the trolling and stuff and that all the and the like that's not like he people really got upset with him for that, but didn't really know that like when you have a real conversation with a guy one on one, it was like none of that stuff in
Right.
this. And I'm glad. I mean, like I haven't been on social media too much after getting the news, but I'm glad that like I didn't see any like negative things because like some of the people in this community are,
The bottom of the
yeah,
barrel. Bottom of
right,
Worse than trash,
worse
literally.
than absolutely worse than trash. And so I'm glad I didn't really see anything that was negative in regards to that.
Right.
But
Yeah, man. Well, I know he would love for us to, I know he, first of all, Cole was very unapologetic for wanting to be the star in the room. So he loves all of this attention that he's going to basically get from us. So we're going to continue to give it to him, but we're going to move on with everything that's been going on with us and Slow-Mo. So tell me, what's been new in your world, man? What's been going on? What games you playing? Did you actually make a video yet?
Let me tell you what I've been doing, man. I've been playing Cyberpunk.
Oh my god.
That is all I've been
That
playing.
DLC that good, huh?
No, the DLC's not even out yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, DLC's not out yet. Yeah. You would
So
think
this
it's
is-
out as much as you play it.
So I may have played last night. Yeah, last night. I finally stopped playing Cyberpunk to go through my multiplayer games. I did a little round robin of my multiplayer games. I mean, outside of last night, that's been the only time that I have actually not been playing Cyberpunk 2077. And here's why. It's a really good game. Now, like when it's fixed, and I mean there's still some bugs, clearly. But like it's when it's fixed and the game actually works, it's fun to play. Now what I've done and something, and any developer out there, any developer that makes a game that has any kind of build diversity will hook me. Hook, line, and sinker. When I first played Cyberpunk, when I beat the game when it first came out back in 2020. I think I struggled through it. It took me about 2 months because I guess I was kept getting so annoyed by the massive amount of bugs and certain missions being bugged. I remember one time I was trying to do a mission, and every time I went to a location for the mission, my game would crash.
Yeah.
And I was playing on PC, so like I had it actually better than the majority of people who were playing it on PlayStation and Xbox. But I struggled through the game. Like I almost didn't beat it. Was doing the final mission, and there's a tank. So like you had to wipe out all these enemies, and then there was this tank that you were supposed to shoot at. The tank was supposed to shoot a door, and then you were supposed to continue on with the mission. And every time there was something wrong with the tank was bugged. Every time a bullet would graze the tank, it would it would launch in the air. And when it would come back down, it would come back down upside down on its head, which would prevent me, after killing all the enemies, to actually go do the next step, which is shoot the wall with the tank to continue on. After 20 attempts of having to restart because that tank kept flipping over, I nearly quit. I nearly was just like, screw it, I'm done. Like but I figured out what I had to do to get around this issue. I had to rush every enemy and keep them as far away from the tank as possible and kill them that way so that none of their bullets would get near the tank. And when I just wanted to be finished with the game. I didn't really care about like the best weapons, the best gear, how to really spec your character. I didn't think about any of that stuff. I just wanted to finish the game and get up out of there. Now that the game's fixed, and I watched it like almost everyone else in the world. I watched the Cyberpunk TV show Edge Runners on Netflix. And Rails there says I went hacker, so the game was easy. I might do that my next run when there's a new game plus. Oh, not a new game plus, but like I don't know. I might run through it again. Just that's how much fun I'm having with it right now. Let me. One, they fixed the performance. So on my 3070 Ti, I'm pretty much playing, depending on some of the areas of problem areas in the game where there's like a lot too many people, it's like really crowded, like markets and stuff like that. It'll drop down to like 60 FPS. But for the most part, I'm playing anywhere between 80 to 100 FPS at 1440p. And in a mix of settings, like I'm not playing at Psycho, like their Ultra is called Psycho. I'm not playing on Psycho settings, but it's like very high to some ultra settings there. I'm using Forte, the Edge Runner build from the TV show.
Mm.
I got Lucy's mono wire where she pulls out the wire out of her wrist and she
Mhm.
starts like slicing and dicing people. I'm doing that. I got what else do I have? I have the shotgun, the Crusher shotgun that the big guy that was the leader of the group in Edge Runners had. And best of all, I got the Sandevistan, which is the whole blink technology that where it slows everything slows down for you and you just run up and just rip people apart. And I got probably the best sword katana in the entire game. So I am just I'm unkillable. I actually earlier today was testing something out because I upgraded my mono wire to the legendary mono wire, and I just decided, I'm just gonna start killing civilians.
Mm.
And I ended up going for like 2 or 3 minutes. Was on 4 stars. Police couldn't stop me. Nobody, nobody could stop me. And I had just came out of the Ripper Doc store, and I was just like, "Yeah, I think this is gonna work." So yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. I've been messing around, create a build. Now that I got my build created and it's perfect, I'm just gonna go ahead and beat the game and move on to something else. There's a few games that have come out. Diofield Chronicles. I bought that and I haven't played it yet. I need to play it. Um, Lost Eidolons, which I was a part of the Kickstarter for, launched today, and I haven't played it yet. So I got some games to play, and I guess I need to go ahead and finish up the time I've been having with Cyberpunk. But even with all that, right? I still have to say CDPR does not get a pass with me. This game, as good as it is not the game that they sold people. It's not the game that people thought. People thought you would be able to see your character in more than just looking in the mirror. And when you turn on photo mode, which wasn't there at launch, and photo mode just came out. People thought you'd be able to see your character in cutscenes.
Yeah.
And they were already disappointed that you with just that because they thought from going from Witcher 3 that you'll be able to see this game will be in third person perspective. People thought that a lot of the skills that they saw in the 40-minute like early view of the game that they sent people, excuse me, they showed people would be there, like the climbing on the walls and stuff like that. Stuff's not there. So all that has to be addressed, all that has to be acknowledged, and I think hopefully this DLC that they come out with next year will live up to expectations and hopefully work towards them rebuilding their reputation and getting back some of the fans who are like, no, I'm never playing this CDPR game again because they lied to people, and they did, and they manipulated reviews. They did, and all those things can't be wiped away just because you fixed the game 2 years later.
Mm.
But that's it. Yeah, that's all I've been playing, and I guess I said what I will be playing. What about you, man?
Oh yeah, well, before I get to it, wanna give a little bit of respect to the chat. Shout out to Erodimus, shout out to Spider, shout out to that guy Smitty for coming through, being here early. The man Big Matt Mo, Clifton the Colored Milk Man, the 4090 man. You got to tell me. I know you got the 4090 Clifton. Let me know which one you got. I want to know if you got the Founders or did you splurge that $2,000 and get that Strix version. Shout out to Razar. Shout out to Jada Destroyer, Texas. Dwayne Stone, Mitchie Dies a Lot. Who else we got up in here? Blade X, shout out to you. Truth Serum. Big Mike in the house, shout out to you. Mass it's Mass Hole, but it's actually something else. But shout out to you, bro. And Wilhelm Scream, shout out to you. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, shout out to you. I didn't even know those dudes went live at 6 o'clock yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm definitely not at home
You didn't
yet.
get the message?
Well, I wasn't on Twitter when he probably said that.
You were never on Twitter
No.
to see when people sending stuff.
No. When I saw he was live at that time, I was like, oh, they must have posted something. So okay. But shout out to that. Shout out to DJ Oris, Hallmark's favorite actor and voice actor. We really appreciate you for coming through. For myself, I have been playing, as you can see on the screen, Battlefield 2042, because I made a promise to Erodimus that there will be no Destiny on this channel for a while when it comes to the live stream.
How long is a while?
I think I said for next month, for basically the next. So basically the next three shows.
You said 2 months.
Did I say 2 months? Okay, well shoot, to the end of the year. It doesn't matter. Is that the end of the year? Middle of December. Okay, fine. So I can bring Destiny roaring back for Christmas. Absolutely, you're right. But
Yay.
oh, shut up. Be quiet. Be happy to play. Be happy I'm playing other games. No, man, but in general, yeah, just a lot of Battlefield. I was talking to Taz earlier today, and I was like, yo, you need to jump in there with us. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll definitely jump. I said, Slow-Mo will jump in there, too, because I think Slow-Mo owns it. Don't you own Battlefield 2042, Slow-Mo?
I had EA Play
Pro. What happened
right,
to
which
it? You canceled
so no, I look. So this is what happened. I really wasn't using it, and they taking $15 out of my account every month, and I had my my card got expired, and I got a new card, and I forgot that I had EA Play Pro, and they sent me an email, was like, we need your new card. If we don't get your new a card that works, we're going to cancel it.
And you were
And
like,
I was about to change it, right?
And you were like,
I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
This is probably a
For
good
what?
thing.
I'm like, for what? I'm good. Like I'm not. I can't think of an EA game that I wanted to play. I'm thinking like
Mass Effect. I mean, not Mass Effect. Dead Space.
I don't want to play that. So like, I'm like the only in the foreseeable future EA game that I want to play is Jedi Survivor.
And when is that coming? Next year, sometime.
Like this time next year.
Yeah, this time next year.
So I'm like, I can just save my money. I'm good. And so I just didn't resub. But
I need you to get Battlefield to play with us, though.
Shouldn't that be showing up in EA?
It should be soon, you would think.
Right.
I mean, it came out last November?
Well, I don't even have that now. Because I have Xbox
you got
Game Pass
Xbox
Ultimate.
Game Pass, so you have EA Play.
But here's it. So that would actually allow me. I would have to install the EA beta app. Oh my god, that thing is awful.
Oh, that thing is awful.
Yeah, I was actually only
or you could just play on Xbox. Well, you don't have to download.
I have an Xbox Series S. I am not playing it.
Oh Lord, here you go.
Battlefield 2042 in the Series S.
I probably wouldn't either.
If they have it, I guess I would install EA, the EA beta app. Eric Empire in the chat asked me why not play Dead Space Slow-Mo, because Eric, I don't like horror games. I think they're pointless. I don't understand. I don't like. I've never played Dead Space, so like I'm not casting any aspersion on that game. It's just not for me. It's a genre that I don't care for. So that's why. But no, I mean, look, if y'all want to play it, I guess I'll install the EA beta app and launcher and be upset at how trash it is. But I install it and play.
Oh,
play
it's actually pretty good now. I mean, it's like ever since they're in season 2 of the battle pass. Yeah, it's actually dude, the hit detection is good. I haven't seen any.
Oh no, you said Battlefield. You talking about Battlefield?
Oh, what were you talking about?
I was talking about the EA,
Oh no,
the EA
that
launcher.
thing is probably still terrible with a
Yeah,
capital T.
right.
It probably still is. Big Mike says Slomo is terrified of horror games, and then Razar says I don't like horror games either. They give me anxiety. Well,
I
guess
am not terrified
but
of
guess
no
what?
game.
Guess what? Slomo gonna be playing tonight, y'all, at midnight when it launches in Game Pass.
Playing what?
It launches at midnight. Starts with an
What are
S,
you
ends
talking
with an
about?
N. Starts with a
Scorn?
yep.
Scorn is out?
Comes out tonight at midnight. So you go get so you ready for your so you know what, someone probably won't play it tonight, but he has a date with it though. It's here. So
Oh my God.
when are you gonna grace us with your
Guess I'm gonna have to do
with
this
your
this
two
stupid
hour
stream.
stream? Is it gonna be tomorrow
This
just to get it out the way?
no, 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 nah. Tomorrow probably won't be it because there's some things I gotta do with family tomorrow
Okay, got
plus
you.
work.
I'd
Um,
rather you do it when I can pay it
my
fully
kids are
attention anyway.
actually going to be with the in-laws this weekend, so I'll have some free time on Saturday. And plus, this is something that was requested by Jerk Daddy Lurk.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we
Cat
gotta
Daddy
make sure
Lurk.
he's around.
So yeah, we gotta make sure that he is actually. So I'll hit him up and I'll see when he's available to watch. It'll probably be Saturday then. So
Big Mike said you said you're gonna be running saying help, police help.
I feel like I'm probably just gonna be bored.
Oh, bored. Why you say you're gonna be bored? You know
That
what?
game doesn't.
It
I
looks like
saw I
it
saw
looks like it
like
doesn't pick up until later. So you probably will be bored
I
during your
saw
2 hours.
4 minutes of gameplay or something like that,
You
and I
actually
was just
watched it?
like, well, I mean, it was just like this is like a while ago, and I'm just like, this is one is disgusting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like this looks boring. Like nothing is happening right now. It's just like it looks like it's a game. That's a first person perspective. It has a ton of puzzles, unnecessary puzzles. I didn't see like the combat I saw looked really lackluster. Like it was like the person is shooting like this really organic, fleshy looking gun, with fleshy looking ammo at some really small, stupid enemy. And it was just like, what is this?
Right.
I'm not interested. I'm just so not interested in that game. But I will
Be a
give it
man of your
give it the whole college try, as they
the college
say.
try.
I will play it. And I will not enjoy it, but I'm pretty sure all of y'all knew that. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I have faith in you. I think
Oh, by the way, if y'all think trying to get me to play other games that I don't want to play are going to be just as easy, I suggest you check out the new in caps new min max build tier
oh my
on the
God, what
channel.
did you do?
I will gladly play these games if you sub to that tier.
Oh my God.
Gladly.
I need to go look at
So,
this.
oh yeah, go check it out.
Need to go look at this. What did you what did you do? If I'm about to go look now, slow mo backslash. How much is this tier now?
I'm just laughing at your soon to be reaction.
Joy. How much is, holy crap. Hey, YouTube, you approved
Yes, YouTube approved that. Why wouldn't they?
that? You approved that? I like how you made it the new man. It's like a lot of emphasis on the word new. All right, man. I'm not even gonna tell. If you want to see the tomfoolery that slow mo's going through to make you make you play a game. Well, no, okay, no, no, no. In all honesty, though, since that is the
Uh-huh.
since that is the case,
Uh-huh.
since that's the case on how much you want to charge somebody to buy a game, it can't be no 2 hour game. It can't be two
Well,
hours.
look at the
Oh,
details.
okay. Let me look at that because I clicked
Because
off.
we gotta say it forever. So look,
Okay, I'll tell everybody.
there's people that's probably like, oh no, you couldn't tell. You can tell them. It's fine.
All right, so the new min max build is for anybody that wants to have slow mo play his words, forcing slow mo to play a game of your choice. So the price the price of the brick has the price of the brick has gone up, but you will get a
Sure did.
minimum of 5 hours of gameplay. Okay,
Yeah.
so 5 hours of a game.
You
So
get 5 hours of gameplay.
okay, 5 hours of gameplay
Hopefully in one session.
in one session for the beautiful, amazing price of a Benjamin. He want a Benjamin. Hey,
Yep.
listen, hey man, you are what people give you. If someone gives you hey man, I see people give you Benjamins for less, so you might still get that.
Big Mike. See, Big Mike trying to negotiate. No,
What is he
no, no.
negotiating?
There is no a full playthrough of Callisto. No,
How much would
there's
a
not.
full
No.
play through a Callisto cost?
Oh. You don't
Because
want to know the price of that, Mike.
it should be like some type of discount.
No, Mike. Mike, I don't want you to not be able to pay rent
Oh my
at
god.
the end of the month. Okay.
It's not it can't be like this. Not like this. Why you up here why you up here doing your people like this, bro? Oh my god. Okay, well.
No, Rodimus. We not. No, that's not how it works. You have to sub to the tier for at least a month. Can't be like 5 of us drop 20. We got them. No, we ain't doing this. This ain't this ain't the hood going to a nice restaurant. And everybody trying to get their money together for the tip at the end, for the bill at the end. No. There's one. Okay, there's
Oh,
one person. That's how you do it.
oh my god. Can't believe that you actually doing this to your people. Making them pay $100 to have you play a game. That's a lot of money, Slow-Mo. You know how much gas costs out here?
They'd be all right.
That'd be all right. All right, well, the new min-max
See,
build.
look. See, Rod said that ain't nothing.
It
All right.
really isn't.
Ain't nothing. Ain't nothing.
Somebody
right.
gonna drop that $100 today.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Hey, just remember, 5 hours. That's a lot of money. Okay, well. Oh well, he lucky he did it because I was gonna make him play Callisto, but I ain't giving the man $100 for 5 hours.
Hey,
I'm
look.
not doing that.
You gonna make it worth my while?
I
Is
was
what
gonna,
you're
I was good. I would have did. The plan was to do two. I was gonna do. I was gonna do a $24 member, and I was gonna super chat him $25 on top of it, saying, "Here's my membership for next month. I was gonna say, give me at least 4 hours." That's what I was gonna do, but you took that away from me, Slow. You took that away from the 10%ers. It's okay.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right. All right, we'll be all right. All right, man. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk about exactly what we're here to talk about. Why don't you just go ahead? It's about the 4090. We're gonna talk about it. People want to know, is Slow-Mo gonna actually buy one? You say,
Did you take the topics list away?
did it come down? I didn't even notice it came down. Oh, you know what? I know why it came down. Hold on. I ran out of space on my hard drive. Maybe that's why people don't record at the same time that they yeah, that's what it is. It took it off because of my hard drive. So I had to delete. There it is. So let me put it back in there because it's saying that my hard drive was full.
All right, so
There it
the
is.
4090.
The 4090. There we go.
That thing is
Yes, the RTX 4090, the new king on the block, slow mo. And should you buy any other GPU going forward? Tell me about the 4090 slow mo, because you've been looking at everybody, not just one, everybody stream
I've watched every review that has ever existed
for
for the
4090.
4090. I'm not every review, but I watched a lot. So the 4090 is truly probably the biggest generational leap in graphics cards from one generation to the other. So like if you get one, you're not going to be disappointed at all. It's excuse me, literally that good of a GPU. That said, there's some things that you should probably be aware of before you buy one. One, it's $1,600. So if you want to spend $1,600 for the very best GPU that will probably be out for a while, then go ahead, go for it. Now, the other thing you need to be aware of is that if your rig, your PC is older, then you're probably going to need to make some significant upgrades to actually get the full
Capability.
benefit and capability of this card. A lot of the reviews out here, and look, I would say probably 99% of the CPUs out here will be bottlenecking the performance of games that are being run by a 4090. I'm talking the Intel i9 12900K was bottlenecking the performance of this 4090 on games. It's crazy. It's truly a card that is designed to be the card and the best performance for native 4K, not that dynamic foolishness that you guys try to get on consoles. Actual 2160p native 4K gaming at 120 frames per second for the vast majority of games is actually possible with this card, and then some. But you gotta have a rig that can actually be able to keep up with it, and that's just, you're gonna have to have a power supply that is a minimum 850. And if you're building a PC for this 4090, I would say just go at 1,000 watt. Don't do an 850 watt power supply. Give yourself a little bit of overhead. What else? I guess we can talk about. Okay, well, before I say that, this card is so good that it's pretty much 60%. It's 60% of a minimum improvement over the current best card on the market right now, the 3090 Ti. Which, if you have one of those, I feel sorry for your loss, because you basically took a major L buying that. That
Yeah.
came out earlier this year and is already getting dog walked by the next generation card, but and is cheaper, because that 3090 Ti was a minimum like $2,000 when it came out, and this one's coming out $400 cheaper. That's it. We gotta talk about Nvidia and some of their cap. Now, last week me and Forte were discussing the Intel Arc GPUs, and Forte was being the bougie PC gamer, as well as the majority of the
I
chat.
wasn't
No,
lying.
don't try
We
it. Don't
weren't
try
lying.
it. Y'all was being bougie, but
We were being bougie, but we weren't lying.
we not gonna get on that. That's not the point, right?
Okay.
The reason why what we were talking about is that the topic kind of shifted from talking about the Intel Arc to talking about the 4090s. And we said, Nvidia saying a lot of stuff that we can't really verify until we actually see these big massive GPUs get into the hands of actual reviewers who can put builds together, test them on test rigs, test benches, and see what it can really do. And for the vast majority of Nvidia wasn't capping. It really is that big of a performance leap over the previous generation, the 3000 series, into Nvidia GPUs. That said, that DLSS 3. Now, if you guys remember last week, I was saying it's probably going to be fine for single player games, but I'm not trusting that AI generated frames and just injecting fake frames into real frames for a multiplayer game. The latency, ridiculous. The probably bad frames that aren't actually showing you what's really going on. And when you're playing multiplayer games where you're already relying on trying to have as low as latency as possible, dealing with some games that got poor net code and games like in fighting games and some of these other games out here, games where the the desync issues and issues with server side to client side, us being the client, the consumer side, the gamer side issues where that data isn't being pushed back and forth fast enough due to internet issues. All this stuff we deal with on a regular basis. You want to add on top of that some fake AI frames that you don't need? Because this card doesn't need DLSS 3 right now. It just doesn't. This is a card that at 1440p, it doesn't do too much more than what the previous generation does, and it's pointless at 10. It's bottlenecked at 1080p. It doesn't do very much more than what other cards that are already on the market are doing at 1080p. This is a 4K card that at the DLSS 3, the issues with it right now is that the AI frames is creating have artifacting in it. Artifacting would be like things that are in the environment that don't make sense. It could look like debris or it's bad pixels, but it's not supposed to be there. Some like items or things in the environment could be garbled looking. Things aren't looking correctly, and that's what a lot of artifacting is. What we saw from these reviews of 3 games that Nvidia gave beta tested versions of these games to these reviewers for. They were Spider-Man Remastered, Cyberpunk 2077, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. 3 games that are notoriously difficult to run on even the best cards that are out right now.
Mm-hmm.
And although DLSS 3 has really, really high frame rates, like you turn it on and your frame rates are going from like 120 frames per second to like 200 in like one of those games. It's ridiculous. And it's just like to see those kind of high frame rates on Cyberpunk of all games, which is still like basically putting like GPUs on their knees right now. It's crazy, but that's it. What's the purpose of having high frames if your latency is through the roof? So the reason why the latency is really high, and this is how has been explained, is that your GPU, the AI algorithm deployed by your GPU, is looking a frame ahead to see what the frame ahead is doing to create another frame in between the current frame and the future frame, if that makes sense. So it's looking ahead to what's going to happen to create another frame. This is kind of what I was talking about like last week, where it's like I'm not trying to play a multiplayer game with DLSS 3 on, thinking I'm killing somebody and I'm shooting down a wall.
Right. Yeah.
Because it predicted the wrong thing, and now it's like it's got you confused, that kind of stuff. You also gotta have a monitor that can and it's being recommended by Hardware Unboxed, and I think Digital Foundry, that you need to have a minimum a monitor with a refresh rate of 2040 hertz. Now wait a minute.
Not too many 2040 hertz monitors are 4K. I don't even think there is.
I don't think there are any.
There isn't one. They're all like, I think they're 1080p, aren't they? They're not even 1440p.
Yeah, the only 2040. I think they're just coming out with 1440p resolution monitors that are 2040 hertz. I don't know of any 4K. We just starting to get 4K monitors that are 144
144
hertz.
hertz. Yeah.
Yeah, at least at an affordable price. Now, if there are, we got fisting fisting chicks. Good grief. It says a G8 Samsung. Oh yeah, that's that new
Is that
Okay,
4K though?
it is. It is. There's
Oh,
also there's also another monitor that's like 55
that's
inches.
got to be a VA
Who made that?
panel.
Who makes that?
Is that a
It
V8
might be
panel
Samsung.
of Fisting Chicks?
No. Well, no, there's a 55-inch panel that apparently is not that good.
Talk about the Arc?
But I've
Talk
seen
about the Samsung?
something
Talk about the Samsung Arc TV?
is the
The
art.
monitor?
It's a monitor.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not a TV.
55 inches. It looked crazy.
I think that one is also 240 hertz. But you're talking like a $3,000 monitor. You're talking about monitors that are like well over, where what the 4K 144 hertz monitors are. So look, if you already gonna spend $1,600 on the GPU, if you want to go ahead and spend another 2-3 thousand on the monitor to actually allow you to see what it's doing, then sure, go ahead. But this is like some of the things that I want people to understand. Like, when you watch these reviews or you see things and you see all the marketing from Nvidia, and they're just like, look what they can do. And you're like, yeah, that's gonna be in my rig. But your GPU's an i3.
You
You
said an
got an i3
i3. God dang, an i3.
700K, right? That's your CPU. And you got 8 gigs of RAM. And you still on the mechanical hard drive. And your power supply is 600 watts. And it's not even gold rated.
Mm.
This ain't the GPU for you. This is not your GP. So this is kind of gets to what I was talking about last week, Forte, about why I didn't want the 3090 Ti or 3090, because in my motherboard is Z390E, and I can only do 16 gigs of VRAM. That's 8 gigs of VRAM wasted. Why bother with that?
It'll
Why?
just force you to go
Like,
out and upgrade. That's all.
yeah, I know. But I
That's
mean,
all I'm
I've been
saying.
running my mouth about this 4090 Forte. Are you buying it, man? Because your PC can actually run it,
Yeah, it can. It can. But I don't know
and
if
you could run it well, except for your storage. Just apparently your storage is garbage, so maybe you need to
whoa,
upgrade your stuff.
whoa. What you mean by storage is garbage?
You said your SSDs is crashing.
With one SSD, and it was a USB SSD. It wasn't one of my M.2s. I got 2 of those, and those are perfectly fine, sir. So I don't want to hear that. I got a West. What is that? What's in there? I got a Western Digital 850 in there, and I also have a Samsung Evo 9080
Why
Pro.
do you have your podcast stuff not on your best storage? Question I have.
That's a good question. I was wondering
Mm-hmm.
the same thing when I was wondering, like, because at first I unplugged. I was like, wait a minute. Well, first I thought it was on my T5 because I have a Samsung, one of the T5 drives, the Samsung ones, the fast ones. I have one of those, and I have like pretty much that's like my portable one where I take it from my laptop and everything. And I thought it was on there, but then kind of find out, I was like, oh no, it's on the standard SSD, which is just a regular USB one. And I looked, I was like, oh no. First of all, it's on the wrong hard drive. So right now I have everything on one of the M.2s. So I shouldn't have that problem in the future. But you're right. You're right. I don't know why it was on that drive in the first place, but it happened. But when it comes to
I
my
just want y'all to know that Slow Mo cares about making sure that this podcast is at its utmost, and he would never put all the assets
guess
to
what?
get
Nobody
this podcast running
guess what?
on substandard storage.
Guess what?
Just wouldn't do it.
Guess what? Nobody would have knew that there was issues if I didn't be transparent and say it at the beginning of the show. Because there was still an intro for the show, even though it was a makeshift one. It was an intro. Nobody probably even knew it wasn't the actual file. It was something else. But I digress on that. But no, I don't know. That's a fortune. That's a fortune. And I'm looking like I would.
Well, you was about to get that 3090 Ti a week ago. You was about to get that
Yeah, but
3090 Ti.
I could run that on the 850. I could run that on the power supply I have. I'm not even attempting to run a 4090 on an 850. Even though when they say that you're good, I need overhead. I got way too much expensive stuff in my PC. I got a 5950X in there. I got the Asus Hero Dark Hero motherboard. I'm not messing up my stuff because I'm cheaping out on the power supply. I'm not doing that. And then just looking at that 4090, I'm like, when I tweeted out that picture last week of it sitting next to a PS5, and for some reason everybody takes everything as a console slam. I was just actually talking about, dang, how big the 4090 was compared to a PS5. It wasn't even me making fun of the PS5, but you know how the console war is. People is like, oh,
Right,
PC
right.
people talking drunk about the PS5 again. I'm like, no, I'm literally talking about how big this freaking graphics card is. It's ridiculous. And I don't even know if it would fit in my case. That's the thing. I don't even know if it would fit in there. I think it would fit in there. I just don't know. So I would have to actually go into. I'm one of those people that if I see it, I have to, and I'm going to buy it. I almost would want to build a brand new PC for it.
Which is, I think, I'm not
Cause,
at the place now where I want to build a new gaming PC. Maybe I will be in 2 years.
cause that's
But in the me
Cause that's
But
something I was gonna say. Cause that's something that when I was thinking about that over the course of the last 24 hours, I was like, I just would build it. This is a new PC. I said my oldest daughter is about to graduate high school. She'll need a PC for college. She just has a laptop right now. I said I can easily give her my PC, easily just give it to her and upgrade and
yeah,
do.
and your daughter plays games too,
And
right?
she plays games.
Yeah, so she could game on that and use it for work.
And
Yeah,
use it for
that'd be
yeah,
perfect.
and use it for work, use it for
I
school.
said, I said, yeah, schoolwork is what I meant,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
work
she
work.
can use it for all that. I mean, it's true overkill because she don't need 90% of the stuff that's in this PC. But if I feel like if you're a person that's going out and spending $1,700 on the GPU,
Mhm.
you might as well go out and spend another $1,600 for the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM. Because guess what? I it's like, what do you look like having DDR4 with a on a GPU that's got GDDX on it, and then it's still running fourth gen stuff, and you got this
Mhm.
ultra. It's like a pimp walking down the street, but he lost all his. The emperor has no clothes on, basically. What's really going on here? So it's just really interesting just to see the
Yeah,
direction
I'm
that they're
glad
going
you
with this.
changed your
Yeah,
analogy
I did. Yeah, I
mid-analogy. That
did.
was
I
definitely
was about
going
to have no clothes on because it's just crazy the level of everything that's coming with this card. But it's definitely something I'm really looking into. But I know you were talking about I know you sent me some stuff about the 4080 and how a lot of people are going to be
Oh,
like, well,
yeah, yeah.
if you can't afford a 4090, just wait for the 4080. But
Yeah, this
but
is one of those times where I think I was probably wrong here. I thought that, like, I was telling people, "Hey, look, if you think that 4090 is too expensive." And it was based upon how Nvidia usually releases their cheaper cards first, but this time their they released their faster card first. And I thought it was due to the fact that they felt like the 4080 was so close to the 4090 that if they released the 4090 first, people would be like, "Oh, this is such a great performance," and buying it. And then some of the people who were holding out for the 4090 would see the 4090, and then because the 4080 is already out, the benchmarks for that are out. So then all the reviewers are comparing it to the 4080 instead of comparing the 4090 to last generation, where it's already have like such a massive gap. And then they'd be like, "Oh, that's not worth it."
right.
You know, it's not worth it now. And so that's where I was like, oh yeah, they basically are marketing this well. That 4080 is probably really really good. And the 16 gig 4080, by the way, and from what it looks like, I mean, we haven't seen any reviews yet, but they released some benchmark statistics for a game that's not even out yet, A Plague Tale Requiem,
Mm-hmm.
and the 4080 wasn't much higher than the 3090 Ti, which makes sense why they dropped the price for the 4090 Ti, the 3090 Ti to $1,100, $100 less than the 16 gig 4080, because that 16 gig 4080 with ray tracing off, no DLSS, just straight rasterization, just straight rendering the game, was only 5 frames per second faster than the 3090 Ti. So of course it would seem like you would need to go ahead and price it where they did. Because if you're going to price the 4080 16 gig at $1,200 and there's only a 5 frame difference, I mean, again, that's just one game. You know, to get a real average, you're going to need to have like a dozen games at least of testing. But the fact that the very first game we see from it, it's really close. That will make a lot of sense, and it's just I don't think it's close. Maybe that's just me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like I need to see more. I need to see where performance lies with the Delta with all the cars and stuff, especially once the drivers mature a little bit more. I think that's the thing I'm kind of waiting for. But I'm also at a point now where I think 30 series is like the sweet spot, and 40 is just like a luxury at this point. It's like, do you need it? No. Is there any game? I mean, there's no games right now that really even push the 40 series, and the 40 series might end up being that your forever card. I mean, you hate to say that in PC because stuff is always moving forward, but I think technology is moving so much faster than game development. It's
Hmm.
like at a certain point, how far into the future do you need to be before the graphics card that you buy will never get used for the games that's coming out, because that graphics card will outlive you. Because that's what I'm looking at. I'm still trying to figure out when are we going to get games that's going to take advantage fully of the games that we already have, and I think that's the biggest thing that kind of people are waiting on. But in general, so Slomo, are you going to get one of these anytime soon? Like, how long is it going to take you to be part of the 40 series master
I
race?
think I am going to stay with my I mean, I don't have it yet. I was hoping it would arrive early, but it looks like it's not going to.
Yeah, I thought you
But
got it yesterday.
no. I was hoping it would arrive early, but I'm gonna stay with the Founders Edition, um, 3080 Ti, and once that comes through, I'm just gonna enjoy that for at least the next 2 years.
Ch- sh-
It was probably the best value card of value for the last generation that's been out for 2 years now. I could play everything with it easily. And I can max daggone near every single game, maybe like 95% of the games I could just play at max settings. If anything, I'll probably need to replace my 4K monitor because it's only 60 hertz.
yeah.
Um, but it will easily be doing 4K Ultra at 60 for all of my games easily, and so I'm good. I'm good with that.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Cat Daddy Lurk with the membership. He's five months in. He's part of the support class. We really appreciate that, bro. He says good
What's up,
evening.
jerk?
He says good evening from the middle of freaking nowhere. Well, guess what? You're gonna get a chance to enjoy that piece of nowhere very soon. When Slow Mo plays a game that you you subscribe to his channel for him to play.
So the scoring, like, did they release the game early?
No, they moved. They remember a couple weeks ago when I said, remember I had
I
the
thought it was supposed to come out to like
no,
November or something.
remember 2 weeks ago when I had the topic on my channel, I was like, not all games are delayed, and then I said some actually got moved up, and that was
Oh
score.
yeah.
I was like, look, all games are getting delayed. Some are actually getting moved up. So tonight is the
So,
night, slow mo.
Cat, this is Cat's in the chat. Are you free to watch on Saturday? Because if you're free to watch on Saturday, then that would be the day I do my stream.
Yeah, just let us know when we'll be able to do it. But all right, moving on from this PC talk, because everybody here doesn't like PC. Like
Yeah, PC talk is over.
PC
You
talk's over.
console guys
Console guys can
you
calm
know.
down. I feel you. But let's talk about
I
Xbox.
mean, their consoles are so slow. They probably are just
Oh,
catching up to the conversation,
Jesus
so it's fine.
Christ. All right, well let's talk about
Last one. I'm
oh
sorry.
good.
Last one.
Okay, okay.
I'm done. I'm done.
Continue.
No. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh,
No
last
more slander.
oh no more slander. Okay, got you. All right, let's talk about
It's not
X
even slander though. If it's true. Go ahead.
let's talk about Xbox. And let's talk about how Xbox is taking the fight back to the UK CMA. They're a little pissed. They didn't like what the CMA had to say. They
Oh
didn't.
yeah, they had some choice
They had
words from him.
some very choice words for the CMA. They chose violence in this whole situation. It was like, wow. First of all, I have to say that I didn't. As much as I want this to be over, I am very, very entertained by all of this. Not only from the not only from the publishers or like Sony and Microsoft in general, but the fans, the actual CMA, the different corporations like 2K coming out and saying stuff too. It's great. It's great. I do want this to be over with so we can get to like just talking about how this is going to impact Xbox or whatever's going to happen depending on the decision that's happening. But yeah, so the CMA has some very choice words for the things that they were talking about when they came to their conclusion, and basically just harping on how they feel like this could hurt consumer influence when it comes to their purchasing decisions of what systems and stuff that they're going to purchase. It sounds very eerily interesting that they're defending a company that's literally doing that exact same thing right now, that they're basically saying they don't want Microsoft to do if they purchase, Activision Blizzard. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on here, slow mo. But what are your thoughts just in general with just all of the effery that has been happening from just the Brazilian CMA coming down and basically passing the deal, saying there's no restrictions involved, to the UK. We know the UK and the US are the big ones that have to pass, and they're the ones that have to hold it up. But the UK is doing their second look and everything, or they're actually doing their first look right now, and they had the stuff that they had to say. So what is your thought process on the direction that this whole thing has kind of spiraled into over the course of the last couple of months?
This is fun. It's a lot of content for us content creators, so we're enjoying it. The only thing I would say is it's not quite on the level of at least to me of the all of the tea that got spilled with the whole Epic and Apple lawsuit.
Yeah.
That was great on some, because it wasn't just Epic and Apple who got all of their business put out in the street. It was Sony. It was everyone that they do business with, which is everybody. So because of that, because of that, like it became such a thing when we're looking at emails and we're seeing like the back and forth, and we're seeing Epic trying to negotiate with Sony to get crossplay going for Fortnite, and we're seeing Sony out here, doing the most, trying to get the most and trying not to do it for free. It was great. And I think this is a close second to that, because although we're getting to see these arguments play out and everything, and we're seeing some messiness from Sony and Microsoft in regards to the things that they said. We're not getting the kind of data that we get before. Like, stuff is redacted. Like we saw in the some of the statements that came out this week about how many, like, it was redacted exactly how many, the percentage of PlayStation gamers that play Call of Duty. And it's just like, why is that redacted? Like, well, why y'all gotta redact like basic information? Like, I just get a little annoyed with that. But otherwise, like, I'm just enjoying all of the pettiness that's been happening with these companies. I still maintain that, like, the deal's going to go through. I don't think anything that's going to happen, even with the CMA, is really going to end up being um I don't think it's going to amount to anything. I think everything's going to be fine, and it'll go through with no problem. And I don't even think there's going to be any restrictions. Honestly, like, I just don't think that's going to happen. And I can't. I'm trying to think of like what kind of restriction they could put on it that would actually make sense.
Right.
Because I'm looking at some of the things that PlayStation is asking for, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Wait a minute. So you're saying that they're gonna buy this, but they're gonna be forced to not put it on
On their,
Game
on
Pass?
their service.
What?
I can't
You
make this
still
up.
want the marketing? You still want,
Can't
so
make,
they're gonna own it, but they can't market it for their platform?
man, you can't make this up.
And you know what? Shout out to Kofi, because Kofi went live earlier, and I was listening to him as I was working, and he brought this part up, and I jumped in to his stream just to say this. Then I'm gonna say it now too. When I was in college, I had a lot of classes. My second major was business administration, and I had a lot of classes that pertain to negotiations. And one of the things that I recall, that was really, really important was, and when you're negotiating, to have things that you either don't really care for, or you don't really think you're going to get it. And you're supposed to ask for these things anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way, like, when you get a job and you're supposed to say you want your starting salary to be 10K more, let's say 20K more than what you really want to take. So that when you start negotiating, you're going to end up somewhere in the middle. You're going to end up right where you want it to be, really, for your salary and benefits and whatnot.
Right.
In negotiations, you pretend like you want things that you don't want, so that later on in negotiations, you give up that thing. All right, fine, I'll give you this, but we gotta have that in return. And the thing that you want in return is the thing you actually really wanted anyway. So you really didn't give up anything. And that's how negotiations work. And I think that's what Sony is doing. They are asking for the moon, just so they can get close to it.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to they're asking for things that are outlandish, so they can maybe land on just parity.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does, and it just gets deeper and deeper. Like, if we go and just talk about today, what Tom Warren put out today, talking about the next thing that's happening, where Microsoft is basically counteracting the whole thing with Sony. And this was a statement that was put out today about Game Pass. It says Sony has chosen to block Game Pass from PlayStation, so it's not available on PlayStation at all. As all games that are available on Game Pass are also available to purchase. PlayStation gamers will continue to have the ability to buy Call of Duty on PlayStation, and doing so will still cost them less than switching and buying an Xbox console. Microsoft also points out that there will be the first time that an Activision Blizzard game will be available through a subscription service. Again, this increased competition has not been welcomed by the market leader Sony, which has elected to protect its revenues from sales of newly released games of its service rather than offer gamers the choice of assessing them via its
Hey,
subscription PlayStation Plus.
pause. I love how they threw in there have declined our offer.
Declined.
Bruh, they don't want your service on their
They don't.
platform.
They don't want it on
Like,
there, but
they have a
genius.
competing service. It's like the fact that they said it like the way the phrasing is just hilarious. Go ahead, my bad.
No. But then I think that's what the second part was all about. Because like you said, the fact that it's just asinine that they actually expect them to put that service on there when they have a competing one. But then again, they also talk about, again, this increased competition has not been welcomed by the market leader, Sony, which has elected to protect its revenue from sales in newly released games rather than offer gamers the choice of accessing them via its subscription service, PlayStation Plus. So they're basically saying, like, we're giving people choice by putting our games inside of that service. Sony is choosing revenue and generating more money that way, other than looking out for their consumers and giving them the choice on if they want to just buy the game outright or do they want to play it inside their subscription service. I think that's a double-edged sword that Microsoft knows that Sony can't fight, because Sony can't do what Microsoft is doing when it comes to that. They can't subsidize the price of their games inside of a service like that, because Microsoft is being funded by the biggest piggy bank, well, one of the biggest piggy banks in the world, Microsoft. Sony doesn't have that luxury. But I just find it really funny that both of these companies are going back and forth. But I just also find it even more funny that Sony is fighting a fight that they have been doing for years at this point. Like, we're still waiting. Slumar, are we still waiting for Final Fantasy VII Remake to come to Xbox?
I mean, not me. I mean, I played it twice.
Yeah,
I played on
have
PlayStation and on
I'm just saying. But for the people
but
that
for Xbox gamers, absolutely, they're waiting patiently.
Yeah, patiently waiting. What about we're finally getting games like Persona that's finally coming over there. After it's been on PlayStation for God knows how long. There's so many games that PlayStation has locked up that Xbox gamers don't have it. Like Forspoken, the game looks like horror. I don't even know if I even want to play the game, but it is still a game that is locked behind a paywall of a $500 or a $400 box, or a $2,000 or a $1,500 PC, depending on how you look at it. But I just find it real interesting that these are these scenarios that are playing out live and in color for everyone. And guess what? It's all because of one game. People, this fight isn't happening because Microsoft wants to have King. It's not because King is the biggest, the trophy of this whole thing to me, because they go from zero to like something when it comes to the acquisition of ABK, with King being the biggest prize of all of it. But the biggest thing that Sony is fighting them for is the revenue split that they're going to get for the chance of them not having Call of Duty. And they don't even want to accept the fact that Microsoft says, we're going to give you at least 3 years on top of the deal you have now. So that means 2027, 2028 is when you really got to worry about this. And Sony's like, no, our gamers are not going to be disrespected. And I'm like, yo, when can and then it's just all the infighting about where you can put your games. I find it really crazy that you can buy something and own it, and then another corporation can dictate where you put it, especially if you own it. It's crazy, but that's what these regulators are. This is what these regulators are for. And I hear people saying that the regulators are just doing their job, but ultimately, it just seems real interesting that they are fighting, like the tone that they're taking when it comes to what Microsoft is doing versus what PlayStation is doing. And I just find it, like I said, just interesting that PlayStation has been doing everything that they are afraid that Microsoft is going to do with a game they don't even own yet. Where Sony's been doing this with games that they don't own, they just have marketing deals for. But since they're the market leader, they can kind of strong arm these type of deals into place where they can sit here and say, "Hey, we want this, we want that, we want a year exclusivity."
They get those deals for far cheaper than
Then
Xbox would
Xbox
if
will.
Xbox tried to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're using their market dominance. So I mean, some people are going to say your market dominance is definitely worth more because Microsoft could probably outspend if they wanted to. Who says Microsoft didn't try to spend money before? But would you rather take the money up front and know that your game is going to sell no matter what because you're on a bigger platform? You got more of the gamer, quote unquote gamer behind you because you're on the biggest and best platform in their eyes. I just find that really, really crazy that that's just the direction we're going in. But what do you think?
Um, Give me 1 second.
No, yeah, go ahead. I didn't even see what just someone just sub to the channel. Shout out to you, bro, for subbing to the channel. Where is it? Because it does actually show. Oh, it doesn't show
Yeah,
people
I
that
just saw
just.
it. It said Leon Heart 3.
Yeah, shout out to
Uh,
you, Leon. Yeah, he just subbed to the channel. He doesn't show those in the activity feed, but
all right.
I just
Go
find that
go go
crazy.
ahead. Go ahead and ask the question again.
No, I'm just saying, like in general, when it comes to like what Xbox is doing, what PlayStation is doing, is there a right and a wrong to this? Like, is it?
No,
Yeah,
it's business. You gotta do
exactly.
what you gotta do in order to win. That's it. It's business. And frankly, if Jim Ryan wasn't flying out to Brussels and flying all over the place to get these kind of like to advocate for their interests, the shareholders at Sony and the board of directors would be looking at him like, do we have the wrong person?
Right,
Because this is what we expect of you. We expect you to fight for our interests, and our interests are not the consumer's interests. It's our interests, and which is part of the reason why I feel like probably the reason why I feel like the deal's was going to go through because really, like we see from other platforms in gaming that not having Call of Duty is not like a deal breaker for your ability to compete and your ability to do business in this and a monopoly isn't, oh, I'm not as dominant as I once was. That's not what a monopoly is. You can't do business due to the way that this other company is doing business and keeping you out of you, closing you out, foreclosing your ability to get things done. That's not going to happen. That is nowhere near happening, and not going to happen once this deal completes. So I don't really think it's going to be a problem. But Sony expects Jim Ryan to fight tooth and nail to get whatever they can
right.
out of this and to lessen the damage that this would be. So you when that's the case, you're gonna do what you gotta do, man. You're gonna fly to Brussels. You're gonna fly all over the place. You're gonna fly to Brazil. You're gonna fly to what's another one at? You're gonna fly everywhere because you're gonna do what you need to make sure that your company ends up in the best position possible when it's all said and done.
So the another question is, do we think what kind of effect do we think this is actually having on the deal? Do we think that is minimum? Do we actually think it's working? Do you think that Sony, if they keep pushing hard enough, that they can get this kind of in their favor where it doesn't go through, or one of the regulators does vote in their favor to not pass the deal? What do
I mean,
we
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if it's working or not. Um, I we won't really know, honestly. It's a guess at this point.
Yeah.
If it's and it looks like there's a there's like a second independent committee or group or whatever that actually is investigating phase 2 for the CMA. So whoever did phase 1 that had all the questions that a lot of Xbox gamers feel like it's just basically parroting the things that Sony said.
Yeah.
They're not the person that's doing the investigation. It's some other group or people that are doing the investigation. So I guess you could say that if it comes back where they feel some restrictions need to be put in place or some things need to be put in place to force Microsoft to do certain things, then that would actually track with how they do business, and that it would actually be not just one person or one group doing it. They were like, oh, that's unfair, but they actually got, other people to come in and actually do the investigative work. So I don't know. Like, look, I still think it's going to end up looking good for Xbox with this. Um, I kind of, I feel weird about agreeing with Strauss Zelnick out here, but I think Strauss Zelnick, when he did his interview earlier this week, I think he made a lot of good points.
Hmm.
And I think, he said, if you got like great content, it don't matter. He don't care about, Microsoft getting Call of Duty. He's like, good. All right.
Yeah.
Because GTA 6 is going to sell regardless. And it's going to sell to even more people on PlayStation when Call of Duty not there when it come out.
Yeah.
So uh, I,
I think that's the other part of it, where I think a lot of people just kind of look at the scenario, like the fight that Sony's putting up when it comes to like the irreparable harm that's going to have to come to them. Where
mhm.
it's like you said, it's just words that they know they're not going to be harmed by,
Well,
Call
they
of
got
Duty not being
exaggerated.
there. Yeah, they're yeah. I mean, just like just like Microsoft exaggerating the fact that, oh, even knowing they're telling the truth about the things that they are saying about, oh, we're last place in the console market, we're seventh place in the PC market, we don't even have we don't even have any, we're not even on the ground floor when it comes to mobile. When they say stuff like that, it's like, okay, you're telling the truth, but you're also laying on thick, because it's like, you are a bigger player in the console market than you think you are. You're just not doing as well as the other platforms, because you're making just as much revenue as everybody else. They're just making a little bit more because they just happen to have more systems out there. But if you look at your user base and then you go by user, I believe Xbox makes just as much money, if not more, user by user than probably PlayStation, or at least it's in line. They just don't have the massive scale that PlayStation has, because they have 50 to 60 more million users that's on their platform. So that's the biggest difference. But I think on a gamer by gamer basis, I think Nintendo's the only one that can say that we stand apart from everybody else, because the Switch has like an 11 or 12 to 1 attach rate, where PlayStation has like a 7 to 1, and Xbox is like right around that 7 to 1 or 6 to 1, maybe 5 to 1 attach rate for each player. So it's not that huge of a difference between Xbox and PlayStation. But guess what, Slomo? They're going to exaggerate the crap out of it and make it seem like their platform sucks, or their platform isn't going to survive without having a game like Call of Duty on it, because it's too big of a game to not have on your platform. And that might be true. It might be too, well, it is a really big
Well,
game.
at the moment, it is too. It is. There's not enough people on Xbox who play the game in order for them to justify taking it off the platform. Like as soon as the marketing is up.
Right.
So that's one. That's not gonna happen. Partially the reason why they're like 3 years. We wouldn't give you guys 3 years. It's not out of the kindness of their heart. No, we're really looking out for gamers. No, you're not Xbox. No, you're not Microsoft. What you're really doing is you're hoping after 3 years that the percentages of people who are playing on PlayStation aren't as lopsided as they are right now, and that some of those people are playing on PC and Xbox more. That's what you want
Right.
after the marketing has reversed and the marketing is in your favor, and your people to get are the ones getting the beta early, and you are giving, like, you're putting, instead of them having to spend whatever money people spent to get Snoop Dogg as a skin in Call of Duty, you're putting,
Mm-hmm.
well, people probably can still pay for that, but you're putting Snoop Dogg in Game Pass. So if you're Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you get Snoop Dogg for free. And then every other month, we're getting you skins for free to entice people to get the game on Game Pass. You're going to be doing all those things. And hopefully, you're hoping what's going to happen is that over the course of 3 years, you're slowly migrating these people into the Xbox ecosystem, because it's the reason why they get it on PlayStation.
Right.
These Call of Duty only gamers that aren't really PlayStation gamers. They just play COD and 2K and they keep it moving, or in Madden. Those gamers, those are the ones that you're trying to entice. And so if those numbers are drastically different and by 2027, then yeah, we snatch it off, man.
Yeah, that's how I kind of look at it.
But if they're not, then all right, let's re-up for another 3 years and then revisit this. And see, Sony knows that. They know that is the mindset. 3 years, they're never going to give us more than 3 years unless they're forced.
Right. Nope.
So because we're probably going to lose it in 2027, or they're going to give us another 3 years, and we're going to lose it in 2030. So what they're doing, two things: they're attempting to try to leverage things and make it further out, and they're also creating their own alternatives to Call of Duty. And they're
Yeah.
going to market the hell out of them, because what they want is for those alternatives to be the games that their PlayStation gamers choose to play instead of migrating to Xbox and hopefully leaving Call of Duty behind.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is
That's the
although still a lot of
goal.
people are like, people would never leave Call of Duty behind. I'm like, hey, look,
Oh,
there's a
Euronymous.
sunset for everything.
Right.
Eventually, Call of Duty is not going to be as popular as it is now.
And yes, Euronymous, I did say Xbox people do buy games. They do. Xbox people do buy games. I know a lot of people that do buy games on Xbox. I know a lot of people that have Game Pass and buy games too. I also know, because I work in a game store where everybody doesn't have Game Pass and people still buy physical games or digital games of Xbox games, and it happens every day still. So definitely Xbox is definitely not hurting in that regard. But Game Pass does give them an ability to bring more revenue than they were bringing in before, because they didn't like the numbers they were seeing for people buying their games. So that's why they made the decision to do what they actually did. Let me see. Arado just said the first scoring review dropped 4 out of 5 stars from The Guardian. He broke the embargo. Uh-oh.
The Guardian, ew. I mean, like,
4 out of
who
5.
goes to the Guardian for? I mean, hey, look, let me not
80%
shade
slow mo. That means
the British.
it's a good game, slow mo. 80%. You ready?
That's not technically 80%.
4 out of 5? That's 80%.
No, that's how.
Well, if you look at it on like a traditional scale, it's 80%, but that's not how.
Well, see, no, not necessarily. Look, see, this is how Metacritic gets in trouble by converting 5-star reviews into a 10 or 100 point scale, and then getting reviewers who gave a game 3 out of 5 stars, which to them is average, it translates as a 60
Yeah.
in Metacritic, which isn't average, and people cuss these reviewers out. With the reviewers like, I didn't even think the game was bad.
No, it's probably. I think it's probably closer to a 90. They probably think it's like a 90 or almost or something like that, or close to like a 90 for it to be that. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
I
think
know what you're
I
saying.
don't look at a 4 out of 5 stars
As 80%.
as yeah, as a 80%.
No, it's more than that. It's definitely more
Right.
than that. But it's the Guardian, so if you take the Guardian's word on what they say for games, um,
Yeah. I
it,
mean, he's using the Guardian is,
uh,
I don't I don't use reviews as a means of determining what games I play. I mostly just make sure that if the game's a buggy mess like Cyberpunk was at launch, then I'm using reviews to find out about that. I'm not using them. I don't really care about their opinions.
yeah.
That said,
I just want to play good games, no matter how they come. Scoring might be one of them.
well, it doesn't
Slow
matter. I
mo
gotta
gonna
play
let me.
Scorn
He gonna let
anyway.
me know in the next 24 to 48 hours. So, um,
Thanks, Lurk. Thanks, Cat.
yeah, you get Cat. Oh, Cat! If you didn't know that the new mid max build tier is $100 now. So, and it's worth 5 hours of gameplay, not just 2. Somebody in the chat said they said Hargy, because Hargy is subscribed to both of our channels, and Hargy is known to drop $400 super chats. So slow mo.
I don't know if there's anything that he would want me to play. So
Oh well,
yeah,
Hargy plays everything. So
but as I said, at that price, sure,
at that price,
I'll
you
play
good.
it.
Okay, for 5 hours. All right, slow mo. So moving on from the Xbox conversation, let's talk about some Spider-Man Miles Morales and those good old PC stuff. We did say we were gonna stop talking about PC, but this is we just got to talk about because it's about PlayStation. And guess what? PlayStation is struggling out here because guess what? They ain't
Mm.
got no money. They can't live without Call of
Wait,
Duty.
hold up. What are you?
Listen,
Stop it.
listen.
Stop it.
PlayStation can't
What are you
live.
talking
Well,
about?
listen. PlayStation can't
They
live
got
without.
money.
Listen, PlayStation can't live without Call of Duty. That's what they told the regulators. So we gonna take them at their word for it, and that's why they. Guess what, slow mo? That's why they bringing what the whole what to PC. What are they bringing?
Oh, the whole slate.
The whole slate, baby. The whole slate. And yes, if you look at your screen right now, if you're a person that is watching the show right now, you can see that I am posting those beautiful PC specs that they just announced for Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I'm
Slow-mo,
good. Are
we
you? I will be just
yeah,
fine.
you are good. Yeah, 3080. Yeah,
Ti.
Yeah,
Ti.
that 3080 for ultimate ray tracing. Look, these are you good, Slow-mo? You have 32 gigs of VRAM? I mean 32 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, I've had 32 gigs of RAM for a while.
This game needs 64 gigs.
No, we don't.
That 32 gigs, if they're telling you you need 32 gigs, that means you need 64.
They said the same thing for Spider-Man Remastered,
Did
and
it
that
say
game
32?
runs.
Did it say 32
Yes, it did
gigs? Okay.
for the top for 4K, and I don't think it uses that much RAM. I'm fairly certain it doesn't use that much
I'm
RAM.
about to say, if it uses 32 gigs of RAM, you need 64. Because the 32, all you doing is playing the game pretty much at that point. But what is these what is these what do these numbers tell you, slow mo?
That y'all need to upgrade your rigs. If you are not if you haven't done any upgrades in a while, and what we've been saying that PC gaming is not like a Xbox Series S holding gaming back or anything like
Oh
that. PC
Lord.
gaming is fluid. Like it's always changing. And if you have a certain amount or a certain level that you want your game to run at, and you need a certain amount of performance on it on PC, you don't need to lower your game to a spec that compromises the integrity of the game and what you're trying to do with the game in order to get a maximum number of people to play it. If enough people keep saying, "Yo, you need to get an SSD to play this game," guess what people gonna finally do? Throw down $60 to get them a SATA SSD.
True.
I mean, it just is what it is. Like you're not going to get people to upgrade if you never give them a reason to upgrade. There are some gamers that just like they will just do the bare minimum. And if you tell them, hey, look, man, you don't need to upgrade that. You can run this at 1080p 60. Look, then that's what they're gonna do.
That's what they're gonna do. I agree. 100%. Let me ask you this though. Do you think I was thinking about this last time with the Spider-Man remaster specs? Do we think PlayStation's getting to a point where the reason they're pushing the specs so high on these games? Now, granted, they do want to take advantage of the PC player base and they want those people to be happy since they are bringing their games over there. But do you think that they're making these the minimum specs so high, or just in general, or just even mid-tier specs so high that it's kind of discouraging people that may want to switch off a PlayStation to get a PC because they're looking at that number like, yo, that's a PC that's going to cost me like $2,000. Do you think there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on when it comes to that?
I think they are. So I did a live stream a few weeks ago where I talked about cultivating a community on a platform that aren't quite familiar or know you like that. And I was talking about it in regards to Japanese developers putting their games on Xbox. Sony is also trying to do that with the PC market. They're trying to cultivate a community, which is why they were happy to see, from a game like Horizon Zero Dawn that sold like over 15 million, well over 15 million on the PlayStation 4, to only sell like 1 or 2 million on PC. That they were satisfied with those numbers. And you would see some PlayStation gamers saying that's awful, 1 or 2 million, but they don't they don't have the forethought to think about the fact that you're not going to get the same kind of numbers you get on your own platform when you're brand new to something else. Like you have to start building from there. Now, if they start building up and then it starts to go down, let's say Spider-Man sells at let's say Spider-Man tops out at like 3 million,
Right.
but then Miles Morales only sells 2. That's a problem. But what you want is that every time you drop another game, that you start to build off it, especially when it's really high quality games like Spider-Man, God of War, Miles Morales, like those high quality content, those big killer games that like everybody's going to want to play because like it's Kratos, it's God of War, it's awesome, and I think God of War sold 2 million. And then like you got Spider-Man, freaking Spider-Man. It's the best Spider-Man game that has come out ever. And then you got an IP, Spider-Man, he's in everything, movies, cartoons, TV shows, all that stuff. Like he's freaking Spider-Man. Of course, everyone knows that, whether they're a PC gamer or not, like whether it's a new market or not, who Spider-Man is, you're gonna try to get that game. And so you want to, what I'm trying to get to here is that when it comes to having their specs so high, they want PC gamers they want the community PC gamers that they develop to be those kind of PC gamers.
Right.
Oh, what's the spec? Oh, I'm good. I got a 3070. Oh, I'm good. I got a NVMe SSD. I got this. I got what it takes to run the game how I want to run it. And so just the same way that CS:GO players have trash rigs, potato rigs, because they don't need to, because the game is super old. and they don't really need anything like high end in order to run the game at a high frames per second. PlayStation wants to cultivate a community that is doing the opposite. Yeah, you're gonna get some hardware that's better than the current consoles to run this game on PC. And by the time they really get going, and it's like 2 or 3 years from now, and everything's day and date, because it's happening, you know it's gonna happen. By the time that happens, the PC community have an understanding of what of the. I've been knew when they were coming out, like what kind of rig you would need to have to run their games. But by the time 2 or 3 years, when they start coming doing day and date, like when Death Stranding 2 is day and date on PC and PlayStation, the PC community is gonna be like, yeah, you gotta have a real nice GPU to run that. You better have 64 gigs of RAM to run that. So yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this continues going forward, because it just seems like with the Spider-Man games, they've been having really, really high top ends. I mean, the minimums haven't been as bad, but you know, most people are, I mean, you got to think most people are trying to play at least at 1080p or 1440p. And you know, Nvidia 1060 isn't that bad, but you know, if you want to play 1440p 60 frames per second, you need at least a 3070, which is last generation's card. And we're starting to get to the point where we're starting to see not just like previous cards just getting phased out. Like you don't see 2080s, or not even 2080s or 2060s or anything like that anymore. If you want to play 4K, or not 4K, 1440p, you got to get at least something that happened over the last generation or so. And it's just interesting to see if they're going to go with that in the future when it comes to the next set of graphics cards. So, Slow-Mo, let's have some fun. Let's talk our last topic. Can another man walk into your space,
Oh no.
punch you, fall on you, and get away with it? And if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, there is a video that is there is a video that is about to be shown on the screen right now.
You about to show it? Oh no,
We
come on.
got-
You
there's-
real messy
There's
today.
there's a video that we got to
You
talk
are
about here.
super messy today.
Yeah, we got this video, bro. We got to talk about this. You know, the shout out to the Golden State Warriors for winning the 2021-2022 NBA Finals. But I don't know if I can still be friends with somebody after something like this. So Slow-Mo, after seeing this, tell me what your thought. First of all, if you see somebody walking up to you, what's your reaction?
First off, before he would have, me and him would have been shoulder to shoulder. He would have got chin checked. That because he walked. You could tell as he was walking up that he was walking up with bad intentions. There was no good intentions there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think the punch is a bit overblown. It's a good punch. I mean, he hit him, but he also fell into him when he hit him, and so people are like, "Oh, he knocked him out, man." They had to give Jordan Poole mouth to mouth to bring him back to life, kind of stuff. Like, nah, look, yeah, people exaggerating. It wasn't that bad. It was a nice punch, but it wasn't that bad. What he fell into him, so he fell down. And we didn't see what happened right after that, because right after that could have been Poole fighting back. But look, if that was me, if it was me, he had to watch his back, because I'm either, if I didn't check him then, man, you might have to check your car later on and see if all your tires is slashed and the sugar in your tank.
Did you?
And that thing ain't set on fire. If You better watch your back. You come out the bathroom and getting club punched upside the head, like I'm gonna get you back at some point. Like that, if it wouldn't have been right then and there, it ain't over. You know what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying. It's not over until I can retaliate. Now, can we be friends? Absolutely not. We ain't being friends after that.
Can you be teammates after that?
Teammates. I mean,
Can I be on the
it's a
same team as
job.
you?
It's a
Yeah.
wait, hold on. It's a job that you get paid millions of dollars to
There's
do.
also an HR department.
Yeah, true. I can deal with somebody I can't stand for that kind of money. Now, granted, you can still make all that money not dealing with this guy, right?
Yeah. I would be requesting like, man. Whew. I would have to request a trade and hope that they don't trade me and they trade him.
Well, I think he's done because I think Poole is one Poole's younger.
Yeah.
And I think that as far as the future of the franchise, Poole's probably got a bigger chance of being that for them than than he does. So it's like, yeah, I
Rodman
think
said Jordan Poole is the new is the new Stephen Kerr.
oh yeah, you know Kurt
Sir,
definitely got some flashbacks
yeah,
of Jordan
from
doing that to
Jordan do
him and
that to him and what did he say? Brothers fight. Yeah. Listen, man. Oh no. Okay, so Rodhams just said actually Jordan Poole was knocked out and Green was catching him from falling.
he he did not catch him from falling. He did not catch him from falling.
No. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Watch that video again. He stumbles into him. He didn't catch him from falling.
Oh my God. Oof. Jesus. It's when you slow it down to 200%.
Look, if you gonna go through the effort of knocking somebody out, why would you catch them?
Yo,
Why would you catch them? Like oh, I'm gonna knock you out, but I'm really concerned about like the state of the back of your head when you hit the ground or the wall. So no.
no, man, look, it's like Steph Curry and them just all sitting there. It's like when you look at this, it's
I
like,
love Steph response of absolutely nothing. Like
yeah,
Steph, like
it's like, what is this? Oh
he
man,
ain't
you see
moved at all.
nobody ran over there. All those, I'm like, yo. I mean, first of all, let's be for real. Okay, so Jordan Poole, the first problem that Jordan Poole had was he allowed that man in his space. You don't let nobody.
Yes.
Once you let somebody within 5 feet of you,
Well, look, man. Most basketball players don't really fight. You know, you see a lot of let me phrase it because I know about a lot of stuff that's happened that never made it to the media with basketball players fighting after games and in the locker room and stuff like that. But like a lot of times you see basketball players fighting in like remember Alonzo Mourning fighting Larry Johnson? Them dudes fought for like 45 seconds and didn't land a single punch. Just swinging all around each other. It was the weirdest thing ever. like I remember Shaq trying to hit somebody and he missed. Like the guy didn't even know Shaq was swinging on him and Shaq still missed. Like these guys ain't exactly the best fighters in the world. So I'm not surprised that Poole didn't see what was coming. Even after he shoved them away, he didn't change his stance. He didn't change like his body language. Like, put your hands up, bro. You gonna push somebody away. You must have really thought that, it wasn't gonna be like you didn't raise
I
your hands. You didn't go defend yourself. Nothing.
listen, man.
Frankly, as a grown man, you
Nobody.
should know better.
Well, there's two things to this. I don't think Draymond Green would have swung on him if he ain't pushed him. I think Draymond was walking over to try to intimidate him, and
Oh no,
I think he
no.
was walking over to intimidate him, and he wasn't going. I don't think he was going to throw a punch at him. I don't think the punch was coming. But as soon as he pushed him, I think it was a wrap. Dead. It was like something inside of Draymond just snapped for a second. But that just lets me know. But I'm also part of this thing. Like I'm part of the old school, man. Person walking your space. Your space is all you got. You don't just let somebody in your space. Because when you let them in your space, you're basically saying, oh, come into my house and drink my Kool-Aid. That's basically what you're telling them. And then it's like you reacted to him when he was already inside your space. So it's like, oh, it's interesting. It's funny. They won the championship together. A couple people in the chat said this is nothing. It more than likely is nothing. But
Uh,
but this is the thing.
mm,
No, this is the
it
thing.
would have been
If the
nothing if it
video
never
never got
got
out,
leaked out.
if the
Yes.
video didn't get leaked out, that's why
Now it's
it's
something.
something now
And
because
Jordan's pride
is
can't allow it to be nothing.
right, exactly. Well, put it this way. Before this, when it was just being not even rumored, it was actually confirmed that they did get into a fight at practice, but the video hadn't come out yet. So at that point, everybody could just, speculate on exactly what happened. But now since you see it, it's like, he's gonna get challenged by everyone in the league now. People are gonna
Can
walk
you
up to
imagine the trash talk?
oh yeah, you're gonna have people like walking up to him saying, oh, he said, man, you better get out my face before I Draymond Green you.
Right. Every time, every game, it's going to be that.
Man, they need like and that's another thing. Everybody in the NBA is basically was like, one person was like, I forget who it was. He was like, one person was like, dang, he said nobody walked over to stop Draymond Green from walking up on him. It looks like the person that put the video out got more heart than anybody on the court. Because listen, whoever put this out, dog, how much did TMZ give you for this? What kind of bag did you get to give this video out? Because whatever they paid, they got it back in ad revenue. They got it back because everybody's looking at this. So if they gave somebody $10,000 for the video,
it was worth
$10,000 well spent. But whoever it is, I think it was Reggie Miller. He said I would fire the whole video department. But it is what it is, man. It's all funny games, but just remember, guys, don't let nobody walk into your personal space, because if you let them walk in your personal space, you kind of asking, nothing may happen. You may not have to worry about it. But I don't want to be the person that something does happen and it's all because I let a person violate my 5-foot rule. Like if you just walking up to me to dab me and say, yo, what's up and stuff like that, that's fine. But if we arguing on a court and you telling me I suck and I'm telling you you suck and you call, and then it's rumored that he called him a bitch on there too. So if he's calling you that and he walks up on you, he already got bad intentions. It's enough, man. But Slow-Mo,
Yo,
where can these fine people find you at, man? What you got going on your channel? When can we get a video? And did Cat Daddy mention to us when he's going to be available?
he did.
I said, did he?
I didn't see it, but temporarily, at least, a tentative time period of probably this Saturday morning would be it, and I mean we'll see what happens, right?
Right.
But that would be the Scorn stream. For some odd reason, you guys really want me to see me play that. And outside of that, nothing else going on the channel at the moment. I got some ideas in the pipeline that I'm not going to speak on quite yet, but
Oh
we'll see
yeah,
what happens.
I'm looking forward to that. Rodimus says it's all fun and games until you get Jordan Pooled.
See, it's already a meme.
Also, let's shout out the channel members.
metaphors and rap lyrics about that,
Oh
man.
man, yeah. Can
The
you?
Jordan Poole you
Yeah,
know?
it's gonna be so. People go. It's gonna. I wish it was closer. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I wish it was closer like that, but he lucky it wasn't like one of those up close, like really, really up close camera shots where they could put it on a t-shirt.
Oh, man.
or
That's
or like the Jordan crying face. They lucky they didn't have a. They lucky this was done on a cell phone camera. Because if somebody had like a DSLR or one of those a real camera, and they could focus in on it and zoom in at 4K, oh man, that thing would have ended up on posters. Somebody would have made millions of dollars off of something that happened to Jordan Poole. But let's shout out our channel members real quick, homie.
all right.
I am pulling mines up now. And once again, this is because we love you guys. You guys support us in this fashion. You guys are the heartbeat of this show and the community. We really appreciate all the 10%ers that support us, not only this way, but just by being here and sharing your afternoon or your night with us every week on Thursdays. And for myself, we have only on Xbox, we got Dragonheart Yobi, Texas Lean, Hustle and Motivate, Mike Andy, True Serum, Ham Solo, Texas, I'm a Rich Swag Lord, Ramon Terrell, Hargy Shani, the homie Sertaz, Stardust Acero, Brat Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Corey Hale, Cat Daddy Lurk. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the gift that you're giving us over the weekend. Shout out to Erodimus, always here to support. Really appreciate you, bro. Slow-mo backslap the homie, the myth, the legend, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. Thank you for all the support you give to the channel. And over to you, Slow-mo.
Appreciate you guys. Shout out to our 10%ers on this side: Cat Daddy Lurk, Dragonheart Yobi, Enrique, Hargy Shani, Texas, Ham Solo, True Serum, Big Mike, Erodimus, Ramon, Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Bunty, Sir Taz, Forte, Corey Hill, Stardust Acera, and that guy Smitty. You guys are awesome. We really, really appreciate your support. And yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. And for myself, it's Gaming Forte. You're already on the channel. DPS Podcast 96 or 106 will be next week on Slow-mo's channel. And outside of that, man, you guys just enjoy your week, enjoy the games. Don't go out there slapping people in the face with a closed fist. And be respectful to each other. And hopefully we get some more developments inside of Xbox and PlayStation. And I have my money on Sony saying something else crazy, but who knows? Y'all guys have a great week, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.